Hello and welcome to Ageless Rock channel. Today we are going to check out two interesting remnants of ancient history of Hawaii left behind by a civilization we have yet to come across. The footprints of these mysterious builders are obvious only to those who wear megalithic lens. So let's check out some structures which mainstream says they are or were fish ponds and therefore they were fish ponds 1,000 years ago. Pacific Ocean is so vast it can look totally blue from certain angle in space. Hawaii Island, Fiji Island and Easter Island are so tiny they are barely visible from space. They are separated by a few thousand kilometers apart. What are the odds that they were bought with their tiny islands and survived sailing in the ocean and found other islands but forgot how they got there when the Europeans arrived? The area within these three islands can fit the entire continent of Australia. If they somehow did not miss Australia, they would have been mighty at land and sea. So, what are the odds that they were from Taiwan, who doesn't like land and therefore didn't stay in China? They liked sailing so much, they went to Japan, Indonesia and conquered Micronesia, Melanesia and Polynesia, but missed Australia. I went through Menehune Ditch and Menehune Fish Pond of Kauai Island in my earlier videos. They are both ancient and mysterious without any known history. Locals gave credit to little people known locally as Menehune. Today, we are going to check out briefly another mysterious ancient fish pond in Oahu Island. It is called Moli'i Fish Pond and is also known as Mokoli'i Fish Pond. Then, we are going to check out briefly the ancient Aiopio Fish Trap and Pu'uoina Heiau. It is said to be 1.2 kilometers or 0.7 miles long, but the yellow line on Google Earth is 900 meters or 300 feet long. It covers approximately 50 hectares or 125 acres. This is such a colossal project for a colossal pond for primitive people about 1,000 years ago. I wonder if ancient Hawaiians really need so much fish when their population is so few. Moli'i Fish Pond is a very large ancient pond believed to be between 600 and 1,000 years old. It is not a natural pond, but to say it was man-made is not very accurate either. It is an awesome structure and there is no reason to give credit to little people called Menehune. They should have remembered and have annual festivals to remember the hard works of their forefathers. William Ellis, a British naturalist, noted these ancient fish ponds in his 1826 journal entitled Tour Through Hawaii. One of the mention is interesting because it mentioned the production of salt, which is largely not mentioned in most articles you read. He said the natives of this district manufacture large quantities of salt by evaporating the seawater. We saw a number of their pans, in the disposition of which they display great ingenuity. They have generally one large pond near the sea, into which the water flows by a channel cut through the rocks, or is carried thither by the natives in large calabashes. This pond is rather unusual to me because it seems to have been created before the beach by cutting off water from the sea. The huge sand area in the yellow box shows that the pond might be a natural depression or dug out by mysterious Menehune people. Moli'i Fish Pond is so big and divided by sand so wide, you can take a dip in the salty ocean and then another dip in the less salty pond. I am inclined to believe that Moli'i Fish Pond has been collecting rainwater for many centuries if not millennia. Rain flows from the surrounding mountainous landscape. Let's check out Pu Uyona Heiau, which I find rather unique. It is on the west end of Hawaii Island. Although there is barely any information on this heiau, it is still an interesting Hawaiian temple. From Google Map, you can see the structure is about 57 meters or 187 feet long by 16 meters or 52 feet wide. I don't have much to say about this heiau because there isn't much information I can find. But I'm curious about the structure on the north side of the heiau known as Iopio Fishtrap. This ancient fish trap is approximately 113 meters or 371 feet from end of the exterior wall on the west to the wall on the east. It is a very impressive achievement if they were done by ancient inhabitants, but I highly doubt they actually built this for protein. I can see there are 3 rectangular structures in a row and a 4th structure on the south, which is the smallest and tilted more like facing northwest direction. It is believed to be a fish pond in a fish pond where they rear small fish like a nursery before placing them outside, which is the larger pond. It is also said to be for fish to go in during high tide and they will be trapped during low tide. These 2 theories sound logical at first glance, but I doubt this was actually the activities of ancient Hawaiians for protein. The high tide and low tide will make it hard to control the timing of when to move small fish in small ponds to bigger ponds as they grow bigger. The lack of wall structure on the east will also have all the fish swimming into the ocean when they grow big. Here is a satellite view of Barong Temple in Java Island of Indonesia. There are 3 structures on the east side. Although we assume they are temples, each temple is actually just a solid monument made up of many polygonal blocks of stones. There is no room on the inside and no statue to tell us what god was worshipped here. I am just drawing a similarity here which I think might be a clue to what it was for when the unknown ancient builders created these megalithic structures. Since the stone temples are just square structures with pyramidal top, it certainly looks like a product for energy. I am not sure if these fish ponds, locally called loko, were made for fishing. It seems they observed strict kapu decree when these fish could be harvested, such as when ocean fish were scarce. The ancient Hawaiians actually rear fish in the pond, but still go to the ocean anyway because the ocean fish is better. Did they feed the fish but don't eat them because there is plenty in the ocean? So, the purpose of having fish pond is not the same as what we would do in modern times. We have fish ponds so that we don't have to go to the sea. But it seems like the Hawaiians use it when the ocean is short of fish. Fish were harvested when the ocean failed to supply enough fish, which is a ridiculous event if you think about a few hundred years ago, natives carrying stone tools were worried about the ocean would fail them. Today, with over 100 fish ponds built by their ancestors, they are not used as fish ponds even though there is less in the ocean. I would like to think that now is the time to use all the fish ponds because the ocean has far less fish than what they had a few centuries ago, and the population today is a lot more. Whether it is fish scarcity that made ancient Hawaiians arrange boulders or not is not convincing to me, but I am convinced that turtles are found abundantly here. It is probably the invisible energy that guides them here for breeding and vacation. They are here on vacation to see Homo sapiens. Do you think that a few hundred years ago, ancient Hawaiians would like to rearrange these rocks so that they can have fish? Everyone knows that the shores were full of fish when the Europeans arrived. The population of Hawaii in the past is hard to guess, but I don't think they need to worry about fishing. This site is worth visiting on your vacation because you might find the answer as to who built them and why. If not, at least you can see a lot of turtles, and if you can do turtle talk, they might show you how to use geomagnetism to go to Tahiti. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation on ancient Iopio fish pond and Moli'i fish pond. See you in the next video and have a wonderful day. This is Berniong signing out. Ahuyo aloha.